For thousands of years, the Leagues of Votann have exploited the riches of the galactic core and overcome the perils of that tumultuous region. In this video, we're going to show you how to paint a Hearthkin warrior to a parade-ready standard in the scheme of the Ymir conglomerate. Now, as you can see here, we've already got a model painted up to a battle-ready standard, and if you'd like to see how we did that, you can check it out in a previous video. Now, the first thing we're going to do is highlight the red armour using Tuscarl fur and Cadian flesh tone. Then we'll do the blue undersuit using Dark Reaper and then Thunderhawk blue. So let's get some Tuscarl fur onto the palette here. Thin it down with a touch of water. Then roll your brush up to a nice point. We're going to be applying this as a chunky highlight on that red armour. We want this highlight to be a little bit thicker than normal, as we're going to be applying a thinner one on the inside of it. With that first highlight done, we're now going to use Cadian flesh tone as a thinner edge highlight on that red armour. Once that highlight's done, we're going to layer up the raised areas of the blue undersuit using Thunderhawk blue. When we're doing this, we want to leave the darker shades in the recesses. With that layer done, we're now going to use Thunderhawk blue to edge highlight the undersuit. And once that stage is complete, we can move on to the next one. So we're going to use Dawnstone to highlight the black areas. Then we'll be using Stormhose Silver to brighten up those metallics. After that, we'll use Fenrisian Grey and Blue Horror on those light blue details. Then it'll be Mournfang Brown to highlight the brown areas. So let's get some Dawnstone onto the palette here. Adding a little water to smooth it out. Rolling our brush up to a nice point. We want to make sure there's not too much paint on the brush here. Then we're going to carefully edge highlight all of those black areas, using the edge of the brush where possible. Now we're going to use Stormhose Silver to brighten up those metallics. Next, we're going to use Fenrisian Grey as an edge highlight for those light blue areas. Now for this, on these little screens here, we're going to draw like an L shape, just very carefully. And for the lamp, we're going to just do a small line going around most of the light. You might want to just neaten this up with the previous colour. With that done and neatened up, we're now going to apply a dot of Blue Horror in the top corner of all of those areas. Once that's done, we can now move on to highlighting the brown with Mournfang Brown. Now, this is a base paint, but it's the right colour that we need, so just make sure to thin it down with a little bit more water. And with that done, we're now going to move on to the base. All we're going to do for this is dry brush using Ulthuan Grey. So I'm taking my small dry brush and a small amount of paint onto this paper towel here. And I want to work off as much as possible, just leaving a small amount of pigment on the brush. That looks about right. Then we're just going to lightly brush that across the texture on the base. And this will just help to pick out a natural highlight. And with that dry brush done, all that's left to do is tidy up the rim of the base in the same colour as before. In this case, we used Abaddon Black. Now our Hearthkin warrior is ready to drive back any alien empires and invading raiders who would attempt to claim the Ymir conglomerate's territories. So there's just a couple of things to remember when you're painting this miniature. When edge highlighting, try and keep your brush up to a nice fine point and use the edge of your brush where possible. However, don't worry if you do make any mistakes, you can always just tidy back up after. Also, when you finish using metallic paints, it's a good idea to change your paint water, and this will avoid any metallic flakes getting into those non-metallic paints. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you've enjoyed watching, and we hope you have great fun painting your own miniatures. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!